So the other option that white has for blocking is to block this direction. The obvious attempt here, if this were to go unanswered, would be to split black's group and to kill this corner. So if white would get that move there, that would kill a corner. So it's pretty obviously requires a local response from black.
And this is the most common played stone in this position. Now, in one of our previous Josekis, we talked about how you want to try to hane underneath to threaten to connect up to this stone. However, in this case, it's not optimal because white would play here, and black's best move is to play here, and then you see that while black does connect up here, it's not. It's a very small corner. White usually does one move here, forces black to fill. White usually leaves this for later, and you see now white's got a nice extension from this optimal extension, and while this can still cause trouble, the pincer stone is really activated at this point. So because of that, black doesn't, in this situation, hane
Underneath.
or turn underneath.
Right.
And instead, black asks for a little bit more room. And the reason for this move is since turning here would make black small, black is trying to get more room on the side and can do it because white doesn't have a stone here. If white had a stone here,
You'd be going in the wrong direction.
then you definitely need to play this move.
And we covered that in a different branch.
So in this case, black just extends.
Okay. So I know a Go proverb. Hane at the head of two stones.
Right.
That's what I'll do. Here.
Yes.
Isn't that a good move? What do you think?
Well, you would think so.
I would.
This is one of those cases where the proverb doesn't work.
Right.
Because this is not the move you want to play, and we'll show you why.
Right.
In this case, because this stone is here, the hane doesn't work. This is black's move. Seems weird, but black is playing this. Black is playing this in order to get a few more liberties and also keep sente. Because if black plays another move, then black has connected up.
Right, and all of this under is definitely enough to live, and it's
right.
problematic.
So black isn't interested in connecting to this. Black is just interested in getting more liberties in sente.
Right. So because it is sente, white has to respond, so he does so to prevent black from getting that move we just talked about, and
now that black has more liberties, he can afford to make this cut.
And now white has a real problem. What will happen if white tries to reinforce this? Then he risks losing these stones. If he tries to do something with these stones, then he'll risk losing that. So usually what will be done, I believe, is to go ahead and Atari that. That will help to strengthen these and keep them from getting sealed in.
Right. We might do another set of videos. I don't know. We'll think about it. But about shape, good shape, and when you've got 3 stones in a row, this is the best move.
This 3 with 1. Yeah, that's a good shape.
Considered good shape. So black is in the optimal position to cause some
bad
trouble,
shape. Right,
for those stones. So when white hanes here, this is the most common move. Black obviously extends.
Okay. Now, if white doesn't protect this cut, this can still become a thing that he has to deal with. So he can protect it this way.
Let's show why. So if white plays elsewhere, black can play here.
Okay. Now, okay. So first of all, if you were to try to just naively Atari this way, you see that you've got 2 liberties and you've got more than that on both sides. So just blindly pushing forward doesn't work.
Right, and both of these shapes are in good position.
Right. And I think pretty much everything else you do, even this, okay, yeah, you might think, you connect through.
This looks like a good move.
But black can just go there, and now doesn't really work.
It doesn't work at all.
Right. If white were to do that, he puts himself in Atari.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Right.
Don't do that.
If he were to say, okay, I'm going to come underneath, that's fine. Puts him in Atari, and
and dies.
And dies. He'd connect,
Yeah.
he'd get put in Atari there. So, so that's why this cut is a real problem for white. So white can't allow that cut. So the way he'll protect it is to play there. That means black can't play there, and also it helps, get him out, smother that stone, that kind of thing. But now
black gets to play this move and totally kill this stone.
Right. This doesn't work because since black made this other move, he has 1, 2, 3, 4 versus white's 1, 2, 3 liberties, and white can run, but he'll die. So and you might look at this and think, but isn't white alive? Probably yes. Yeah, this side is, but black gets all of this coming out. It's too much.
Black gets a very big corner. He gets to eat a stone. He gets potential on the side with moves like this. And he's out towards the center. And very solid, like effectively unkillable. White, on the other hand, gets a looser shape with a stone that's not completely dead and can be utilized later to make trouble.
Right.
With moves like this.
And what white does get, he'll still be able to get if we do something differently.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to go down this path because he doesn't get anything you wouldn't get another way without giving black so much. So that's what we'll...
So backing it up, the whole reason that we wanted to talk about this is that this is one of those rare instances where
you don't Hane at the head of two stones.
You don't follow the proverb in this case.
And the way you can think about it if you can't read it all out is that because of the proximity to the edge of the board and because of the closeness of these two stones, that really these black stones are too strong to allow for this potential cut.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. It's because of that black stone that makes it possible.
So white just extends.
And now that black has asked for a little bit more, black Hane's underneath.
Then again, this is the connect up move, so white threatens the Atari there.
And if black
would split black.
Right. And if black doesn't respond, there is an Atari here for white, and he will capture this stone and potentially kill these two stones. So black needs to respond with the connection. And
now white needs to respond as well. We had mentioned one thing that it seems like is being played now is this move, which does work, but I don't think we're good enough to provide an analysis.
Recuse, people.
Yeah. So try that if you like, but for sure what we know will work is to just simply connect. That'll prevent that stone from getting cut off. It effectively separates the black groups.
And now black makes a one-space jump, which basically brings the Joseki to an end. There are follow-ups. White can push once more if he really needs a little bit extra thickness, but that's about all he can do. So from there we can judge the Joseki. So what's white get?
White doesn't really get a whole lot. This stone still can cause a little bit of problem. It's still helping. You would say that white gets influence, but his influence is facing a black stone. His influence is not a ton of influence, and we had talked about how, if white were to come and do something like that, this still has some flaws in it that can be exploited.
Yep.
On the other hand, if white were to do something more conservative, this is probably the best follow-up for white to develop along the side, but just that by itself, a two-space extension would be fine. So you'd think that with this white influence over here, that you could do better than what you can do anyway without it. So that's a little slow. Basically, white gets some influence. He gets sealed in. It is white's move, so he does get Sente, which is something.
Yeah, white gets Sente that can't really be utilized very well over on this side, which is why this Joseki might be better for black. Also, we look at, white spent 5 moves here to get, a handful of points. It's not very efficient.
And we should say that it would be better for black because black has a stone. If we flip this around, if
that's true.
If white started this Joseki facing the other way,
yes,
right, then there might be
Totally.
then it might be much better.
Right.
Okay, so this is I think this is a good example of where reading the global situation
Yep.
would determine which way you approach.
Yeah, Josekis need to be used for the whole board. So if you've like was said, if white has a stone here, then this Joseki is great.
For white. Much better.
But in the parallel thing that we're talking about,
And coming from that direction.
yeah, it's not great. Black, on the other hand, gets 10 points of solid territory and has some aji, which we can very briefly show how to utilize this aji. If black descends later, white will typically kane here.
They're all standard.
And this might live, it might die, depending on which stones are over on this side
It'll
of the board.
definitely be a pain to deal with.
Right. So you wouldn't want to do this right away. Don't
Too
get us
small
wrong.
and too risky.
It's too risky, too small, but later in the game, after some of the board's been filled up, especially if black has like a bit of a shape here, this descent, this move here, is perfect.
A good way to bounce off and go the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's where we're at. Looks good for black overall.